Hi. Well, I wasn't gonna do a post today, but I thought maybe I'd try using this feature on Substack to record a video. I didn't have time to write a post today or for this Wednesday because I was on a session or a meditation retreat from Thursday through Sunday. And so that just ate up the time that I would normally need to produce a weekly post. But I thought, well, maybe I could record a video and just talk a little bit about something that came up for me during the session that I don't know, maybe people would find it interesting. So just thought I'd give this a try. So during the session, I was Tenzo, which is the cook. And this is a role with, as you can imagine, a lot of responsibility. Um, and it also gives me a chance to interact with a lot of folks at the session. Um, not only indirectly in the sense that I'm preparing everyone's food, I'm responsible for making sure that they're fed and well nutriated, but also more directly with some of the other folks there, people that are serving food, dishwashers, my assistant cook, so on. And I was reminded during this session um, that sometimes when we make mistakes, we cause problems for other people, and it's not our place to fix those problems. This might sound a little strange because most of the time you would think about taking responsibility for your actions. And certainly, I think this is quite important. Most of the time, this is the right thing to do. You cause harm, you should try to address that harm and fix it, try to make it right. But Sesshin is kind of a funny place. Um, and one of the things that we try to really focus on is that people have particular roles that they are assigned during the session, particular jobs. Uh, so in the example I want to talk about today, I was the Tenzo, the cook, and there's another person who was a dishwasher. And a couple times, I gave him particularly hard dishes to clean. This was not on purpose. Um, there were just things happened, and a dish got um, food sort of like burnt, caked onto it that was hard to scrape off and get clean. So when that happened, one time I tried to soften the blow and said, "Oh, I'm sorry that I did this, and that now you have to clean this, and I'm greatly appreciative of what you're doing." Um, Another time, he had to leave the dish to soak, and he was off doing something else, and um, I came into the kitchen and saw that the dish was had soaked enough that it could be cleaned, and I said, "Oh, I'll just wash it up." But actually, this was the wrong thing to do. Um, I stole his practice away. Um, he had the opportunity uh, to deal with, um, to during the session to face whatever emotions, thoughts came up as a result of my actions, including the actions that I was causing of where I was causing trouble for him, right? Making him work hard when he was already working very hard. Now he had these extra things to deal with. Um, but uh, in some ways, that's not right. That actually takes away his opportunity to face that situation, right? I soften the blow. Um, and so, I thought this would be sort of interesting to talk about just because this is a little area where I think Zen maybe differs from a lot of how we typically interact in the world. We think a lot about, um, I did something, I'm responsible. How do I, own up to that and deal with it? And I want to be clear that, of course, Zen takes that part quite seriously too. I've taken these precepts um, to, um, and they include a bunch of things that really, push me in terms of, behaving in ethical ways that are for the benefit of other people. And uh, there is, I think, this deeper understanding that no matter how hard we try, there's nothing we can do to protect everyone from our actions. Um, there are just simply, we just simply don't know what all the consequences of our actions are or going to be. They extend far beyond what we even get the opportunity to know about. I'm sure I've certainly experienced this, and I'm sure most of you have too. Of you talk to someone and you find out that something that you had totally forgotten about had a huge impact on their life. Maybe something you said, maybe something you did, right? I had my 20th high school reunion a few years ago, and I remember meeting people that, I couldn't even remember who they were, right? I didn't remember them from high school. They remembered me. They had some story about a time we did a thing and how meaningful it was. I was like, "Are you sure that was me? I think you're mixing me up with someone else," but they were sure it was me. And similarly, I have things that I remember uh, that have happened with other people that to me were a big deal and to them were nothing. So, um, one of the gifts I think of Sesshin is this opportunity to really, sit with our practice. And one of the things that I really got to practice with this weekend is um, that, yeah, there are these situations where I do something, I make a mistake, and it's someone else's problem. And that's just how it is. And then the question becomes, how do I live with that? How do all of us live with that? How do all of us live with the fact that we do things um, that may cause harm to others, and we can't do anything about it? So, um, anyway, I don't have any answers for you. Um, I certainly have my own, approach to, I think, dealing with this, but it's ultimately up to all of us to figure out how we're going to live with those things. Um, so that's it. I just thought it would be interesting to talk a little bit about that and my experience at this most recent session, and share it with you all, and try out the video feature and see how it works. So, if folks like this, let me know. I don't know that I want to do it all the time, but it's certainly easier to talk for 10 minutes than it is to write a post. Um, the standard is a little bit different. And yeah, if this works well, maybe I'll do a little more of it. So let me know what you think. Thanks. See y'all.